It is the Smartman Show with Brian and Nate. I am Nate.
I am Brian.
And episode 8 today. I do believe it's episode 8, right? I'm pretty sure. It's been a while since we recorded, sir.
There was the holidays, and then I disappeared for a little bit on a vacation where I literally went out of my way to do nothing.
That's beautiful. I love it.
Glorious.
I love it. Because seriously, you need those times.
Dude,
bro.
I slept in. I took naps. I woke up to eat. I took more naps, and then I went to bed. It was great.
Yeah.
Like, I could live my life that way happily. If there was a way to get paid to do that, I'd be in so much.
So we did take some time. I bet it's been a month since we recorded.
Mm-hmm.
So stoked to get back for episode 8 for the Smartman Show. And I really wanted to reinvestigate your wristwatches.
I knew you were going to bring them up.
No, because here's the thing. It was such a unique experience when we did the last podcast, and we had...
You called me old.
Probably.
Because I have a real wristwatch versus a smartwatch.
It was just... It is a lesson. It's a tale of two cities. It's a lesson in different personalities. It is because I realized at some point when we were talking about your watches, and you picked your arm up and stuck your wrist out to show me the watch. And it was like, I had no idea.
What's something you really love? Like, you really love? Like
music.
Okay. And
rock and roll.
Do you have any interest in collecting music in the format in which it's not digital?
Not really anymore.
Okay.
You know, even when I had a bunch of CDs when I was a kid, I had a bunch of tapes and then CDs later on.
You know, it's funny. I would see you as a record guy. Like, to me,
because
you would fit that profile.
I'm not responsible, and I don't really take care of things that well.
That makes sense.
So it's just...
You have to be really careful with those.
When I had CDs, they were just strewn about my car, in 2 or 3 different books, plus a stack of like CDs in the cases. But it's like, I don't think I've had anything ever that I've like materialistically, probably.
All right.
The closest thing is like all of the artwork now and things that I have in the studio at home. And, but that mostly is stuff that people got me. But now it's like my favorite thing is having like fun wall decorations. And I never did wall decorations and things before. If
you had the chance to get your hands on a Picasso, would you get a Picasso?
Well, no, because that doesn't necessarily interest me. Picasso doesn't necessarily interest me.
Okay.
But like artists like Banksy.
Okay, there you go. Banksy.
Yes.
If you get your hands on a Banksy, would you absolutely do it?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
That's exactly how I feel about watches, man.
But I never thought I appreciated art that much. There's always a few things here and there that always kind of stuck out to me. But now as I'm getting older and I'm learning to appreciate and see things that I will readily admit that I'm into, it's different now.
I have some feelings on art.
I know. I think we're going to get into that.
We'll explore that later.
I think we're going to. But I want to know. I want you to make it make sense to me. How long did it take you to become obsessed with it?
Not long.
Is it like it's got to be like tattoos? I want another one.
Yeah.
Got to have another one. Got to have another one. Got to have another one. I want that one. The amazing part to me is that we talked on the last podcast too, and that you have so hard of a time to believe that your interest in watches is due to you being an old man now. It's absolutely an old man activity. It's an old man obsession.
I think you might be more surprised than you think about the world of watches. It is. I'm serious. If you go look at like Watch Talk, yes, it's a thing. If you go on to TikTok and you type in Watch Talk and you look at the videos that come up, it's all young people. And there's one dude on there, I cannot think of his name, but he's a dealer, and he does a really cool thing where he goes around and looks for interesting watches on people's wrists in New York City, and he'll like stop them on the street and ask them to tell them about it. And he will literally have a conversation with them, like, where'd you get it? It's always almost always younger people. And they've got like they have real deal watches on.
Well, yeah, I mean it's
you're talking about cream of the crop watches on these people.
I'm just talking about like if I buy a watch, anytime I've bought a watch, I'm like, okay, that looks cool and it kind of looks cool, but I'm not going to spend more than like $50 on a watch usually. And I'm like, okay, it looks cool while I'm checking the time, but it's just.
But again, most of my watches, Smitty, I got at a great discount.
It's
it's all about who you know.
It's nuts. It's crazy. I mean, it's it's jewelry, and I didn't want to young people are into jewelry. You know,
I mean, I wear a lot of jewelry. I have most of the time. I have 3 necklaces on. I only have 2 on today.
Yeah, I haven't worn a necklace since I was a freshman in high school.
They're not super expensive. They're just silver necklaces, but they're not like expensive silver. I like jewelry. I like how it finishes off a look. And I know you don't probably care as much as I do about how I look, because I feel like my actual body type and physical appearance is not good. So I try really well to dress it up the best I can.
It's just not good.
It's not good. So I try to dress myself up in a way like that I at least look presentable. But that's also difficult because when you're a dude as big as I am, to find clothes that fit properly and fit right, it's tough. So I think I rely heavily on, you know how obsessed I am about my hair when I'm not wearing a hat has to be in place. And then the watch or the necklaces, whatever I'm pairing up that day, I want it to look good because hopefully that will take somebody's attention over me. I know that sounds stupid, but it's so true.
Makes sense.
It's
Makes
true,
sense,
man. That's how I feel. I'm going to start wearing 2 watches. I've decided.
Don't do that.
No, I'm going to.
Why? Nobody else does that.
No, actually, that's becoming a thing now.
Oh, God.
So it's mostly the really rich people that have like the $30,000 to $300,000 watches. They'll put one on each wrist as a flex.
Look, man, I'm going to tell you right now, because I'm not, my whole thing really lately is not about judging people.
You
but
judge me?
That's a serious personality flaw. If you're walking around with 2 watches on, you're a ridiculous human.
I did decide at some point I probably will wear a normal watch, and I probably will get a smartwatch. Smartwatch, mostly because I know it can monitor things like heart rate and different stuff like that. And I actually think that would be good to know that type of stuff, especially like if it's, I think it keeps track of your sleep cycles.
Yeah.
And I think that would be useful.
I had one for a while. I was doing steps and all my cardio on it, but when I would sleep, I sleep with my hand under my head a lot of times, and it would make it go off.
Oh.
And I was just like buzzing, and I was like, oh, Jesus,
Yeah, that's not going to be good for the sleep cycle.
But I need a new one.
Okay.
I need a new one. But,
I asked my wife the other day, I was like, can I get one of those? Do you know how much they cost? Because, again, I don't know anything about technology stuff. You can ask me about certain watches, and I can tell you about them. The cost, what they're worth, things like that.
Yeah, but if you get one, don't get another watch to wear with it. Are you going to put one on the other wrist or put 2 on the same wrist?
No.
What are you doing?
No. It'll just be if I'm wearing my smartwatch, it'll just be a regular watch and a smartwatch. If I'm not wearing the smartwatch, it's going to be a watch and a watch. Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Oh, it's cool.
That's a serious personality flaw.
No, it's cool.
No, it's not.
Totally cool.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. This really is leading into the next conversation.
Okay.
What is ridiculous? What is art? What is not art? When is it ridiculous? When is it not ridiculous?
Is my watches art?
Yeah.
So then why?
Yes, depending on.
Then why is my love of the art of my wristwatches and wanting to wear 2 of them at a time not cool?
Because it's dumb and not practical at all. Like, watches are for timekeeping. You don't need 2.
I can say it is a little bit practical, just a little bit. Let's say one of my wrists and hands, let's say I'm about to get murdered and somebody's got one of my arms tied behind my back, but my other one's free. I still know what time it is. Practical.
Nope, that's still the opposite of practical. That is the opposite of practical. I got assaulted at 5:45 p.m. Don't wear 2 watches. Don't be that person. I'm going to have to judge people from now on if I see them wearing 2 watches. What are you doing?
I do have a question.
Yeah.
My dad got a watch some years back. It's not a expensive watch by any means, but it's got his Vietnam unit logo and stuff on it. And he doesn't wear it anymore, and he gave it to me. I was never in the military. Am I allowed to wear that? Or is
Your dad gave it to you.
Yeah, but
I don't know if I've ever even seen an Army unit watch.
It's cool, but I also don't want to get in trouble for.
You get in trouble for.
What do they call that?
First of all, for those that don't know, I am a vet.
Yeah, but what's the word? Stolen valor.
Stolen valor?
Yeah,
That's stolen valor if you're wearing a watch.
And it's Vietnam.
Plus, not to assume, but you take a look at you, you're probably not a vet.
That hurts. That hurts.
I'm sorry.
That really hurts.
I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. You could say it's this was given to me by my father.
I know a lot of guys who got fat that were in the military, sir. I
didn't
know
mean for that to sound mean. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
No, you're not.
I am.
Whatever. What time is it? I need to check my watch. You know, the best part is if I had my other watch on, I could have picked either watch to look at.
Yeah. Where's the clock at on the board here? We're recording this podcast in the radio station where you work. I used to work.
Yeah.
It's a different sort of vibe in here.
Yeah, but it's cool. Like, I don't feel like it's weird. Do you?
No.
Does it feel awkward?
Yeah. Yes, it does.
Well, buckle up because I think our next conversation here is going to get awkward.
No, it's not going to get awkward. We were arguing about this off the air earlier. And it got heated. I don't know if I'm going to try to not get heated, but it's something I feel very strongly about. I know you feel very strongly about. And it really, to me, has to do with, we watched Ted Lasso, and he says, be curious, not judgmental.
Yeah.
Meaning, have an open mind.
Which I do.
Don't be so open and shut about things, except for people wearing two watches.
I do. Now, wait, you can't move the goalposts here.
I just did.
No, you can't move the goalposts. You need to be curious as to why I feel I need to watch two watches instead of being judgmental about it.
What is art and what is not art?
Yes.
I know a lot of people talk about this. As somebody who has really accepted that part of them as I'm getting older, and it doesn't even feel that strange to say out loud anymore. It felt like I shouldn't be saying this, that I am on some level an artist.
You are.
The things that I do and things that I put together and things like that, it took a long time to say it.
And maybe that's where I'm at because I feel like I make radio every day. I do a show every day. I don't consider that art for me. I just consider that my job and something I enjoy doing. I don't really think of it as art, whereas I've been told by other people it is a form of art. So maybe that's where the discrepancy is between you and I on what art is and isn't, because, what you're doing, you feel and have embraced the fact that it's art. What I'm doing, I just feel like it's my job and I don't feel
right. But that's the thing
about it.
Again, I felt the same way about radio. I don't know how I feel about radio being art. I think there's a lot of things that you and I both did and do in radio that would be considered art.
Okay.
Some of the audio things that we put together and presentations and things like that takes work, that takes effort, that takes knowing how people or at least hoping how people are going to feel about it when they hear it or see it on socials or whatever. You know what I mean?
I mean, even doing the graphic design side of things now and getting into that, I don't feel like is very an artistic thing for me. Like, I don't see that as art, and I'm sure most people do, especially people who are graphic designers. I when I'm doing it, I don't view it as being artistic, even though I'm picking the colors and I'm choosing where to place this or that. I just don't see it as artistic. And I really think that as we get deeper into this conversation, this is where our discrepancy of what art is and isn't is going to be. That's going to be the thing that is keeping us from crossing that line.
Well, I don't want to
of shaking hands and saying, "Oh, I get what you're saying."
I don't want to bring up the subject for the conversation that brought this up, a past conversation that you've had with somebody.
Yeah,
but
we just didn't.
Didn't agree. But what was your contention as far as what wasn't art? What was give me a quick example.
You already told me that you think it's art. It was that
I can't remember though.
It's this robot that kept bleeding out its its oil.
It's a very famous art piece.
Not art.
So that's the thing. I'm trying to really figure, because you're saying it so matter of factly.
For me, it's not art. It's not drawing an emotion. It's not, you keep
just
saying
because,
it's about emotions.
Just because you
don't call me dead inside.
Just because you
don't call me dead
just
inside.
because you did not feel anything from it. Are you suggesting that nobody else does?
Well, if art is subjective, then I guess that's the difference. Is I am not.
That's the real argument there.
I mean, like I said, I think there are just certain things that I just look at and I'm like, I don't see that as being artistic. The one that you and I were
so
talking
why wouldn't
about,
you consider that? I just want to know why you wouldn't consider that being artistic.
It just doesn't feel artistic to me. I just look at that as whatever. I don't know how to describe it. It doesn't feel artistic to me.
Okay.
Yet I know a guy
I know
in
you
town
don't like abstract.
who makes beautiful tables that have like the it's got the woodwork side of it, but then what do they call that? Epoxy.
Mm-hmm.
And then he pours epoxy and it's got stones. That to me, artistic.
Yeah, it is. But
Beautiful.
now, so what if they were making? Well, let's just say, okay, this studio desk that we're sitting on, I would say that's art.
It's art,
right?
Yeah.
What if it's? Let's just say
bleeding
that this cabinet here that is not all pimped out with epoxy and things like that, and it's like an IKEA dresser.
Not art.
Somebody designed it.
But this is
somebody
like
designed it.
Custom piece versus something.
If you were if I made a picnic table, you know what I mean?
But if you
for a practical usage, right?
Yeah, I guess I can see that as being art. I don't know. There's something about that thing that I'm just like, that's not art. Look, here's the other thing, man. We talked about this. I don't see throwing a bunch of paint onto a canvas without any rhyme or reason, just throwing it on there as being art.
Well, that's the thing. I think that's where you're wrong too, because it's not. I mean, there's abstract art like that I go look at it and I'm like, well, that doesn't do it for me. But then I do look at some. And I'm like, I really like that. And you're assuming that there's no thought put into it.
Okay, let me ask you this. I was at the museum in town here recently, and one of the pieces they had up was a white canvas, and all this person did was paint a red dot in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
Is that art?
Yeah.
How?
What do you mean how?
How?
I don't know. I don't know. Let me just read down this list of. Hang on, real quick. There's definitions for art. So let's just read down this real quick. The quality, production, expression, or realm of things that conform to accepted aesthetic principles of beauty, show imagination and skill, and have more than ordinary meaning and importance. That's one. The class of objects. This is two. The class of objects that meet or are subject to aesthetic criteria. Objects considered beautiful, imaginative, skillful, and meaningly collectively, such as paintings, sculptures, or drawings. The visual or fine arts collectively, often excluding architecture. The arts, the fine arts, together with literature and the performing arts, a field, genre, or category of creative, imaginative, skilled activity that meets or is subject to aesthetic criteria. Any craft or field of creative activity applying aesthetic principles, skill, and technique. So back to your white canvas, red dot one. Yeah, it's art. It was just something that somebody had in their head. They're trying to represent something. And at some point, especially if it's sold and you sell paintings, it's evoking some kind of emotion from somebody.
Well, I guess then, because I'm pretty sure that painting was like $100,000, I'm going to go get a red canvas, put a white dot in the middle of it, and put it up for sale for $100,000.
You should.
No, I shouldn't.
Oh, really?
This is not creative. There was nothing creative about putting a red dot on a white canvas.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
Oh,
you're wrong.
Good God.
You're wrong.
I can't even stomach the fact that somebody paid $100,000 for that.
I mean, it's overpriced. You know what I mean? At max, I'd spend $40 on it, maybe. You know what I mean? But if it's worth $100,000 to somebody else, look, man. Throughout my life, there's been so many times where I see paintings and I'm like, I don't see it, but it sells for like $1 million. Like, okay, there's this. I think it's Basque. I think that is the artist. And in the Metallica documentary, some kind of monster, Lars Ulrich, is selling this piece of art. It's a Basque painting.
Okay.
And I'm going to try to bring this up real quick and just see what your thoughts on it, because it looks like something a child would do. I know this is a very famous artist.
Honestly, if to talk about, there was that joke in, because we constantly reference Ted Lasso. And Rebecca, the boss, has that super expensive $1 million painting hanging in her office, and Ted walks in and he's like, "Oh, that's nice." And She's like, yeah, it's a blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, I thought a child drew that. That's kind of
Right. So, but like that looks like a bunch of scribbles. That particular Basque painting looks like a bunch of like scribbles.
I see a person.
And yeah, it doesn't, again, a lot of people look at that and go, what are you talking about?
How much was this thing?
I think he sold it at auction for like 1.5 or something like that.
God.
1.5, something like that. 2.5, 3.5, somewhere around there.
And selling at $5 million. Brent, yours at $5 million.
See, and maybe that's the other thing. Maybe I'm looking at this in a way that is judgmental because something doesn't necessarily look aesthetically pleasing and it's getting this large sum of money. Maybe that's where my eyes roll and it makes me say that's not art. That's not worth that money.
Is that red dot painting?
No.
No.
But I mean, it looks damn similar. What's that one going for?
Oh, I know. It was oil with a red dot painting.
You're going to be like, $20. I can get that on.
I'm sure it's more than that because it looks halfway famous. I don't know. What about? I've always said that memes are not art.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But there's all kinds of people that can artistically put together a meme.
Well, that's what I was going to say. So if you're saying it's not art,
I'm probably wrong.
are you wrong that it's not art?
I probably am on some level.
Well, I'm glad that you're at a level of acceptance of yourself to say you're wrong, because I'm not.
Yeah, that's what called being the smart man. This is what we do on the Smart Man Show, is recognizing our faults.
I'm not at that level. I am still going to look at things and go, that is not art.
That's a dumb way to look at it.
Oh,
it's
God.
really ridiculous. What part of like your perception of things do we have to talk about before you actually accept those things? How you perceive things, how you react to things. You know what I mean? Like you could look at it and go, it's just not for me.
You would have to say that everything is art.
No.
Yes, you do.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
No, you don't.
Okay, so you're going to tell anybody who pours concrete for a living that isn't their art?
Depends on what kind of concrete they're
How
pouring.
about the guy that paints the lines? He's got to do that straight. How is that not art?
I mean, on some level it is. You know what I mean?
Everything
on some
is
level,
art.
No, everything is not art.
Okay, where do you draw the line? Because somebody either designed it or created it. The shade here in the studio, is that art? Somebody designed it and created it. I'm asking a legit question. I'm not trying to poke or prod you.
It seems like you're making ridiculous.
I'm literally trying to figure out where we draw a line as people as to what is art and what is not. Because you asked me
because
about...
those lines on the road are put together by the government. They are already like templates of how things are going. Somebody's just going and filling in what somebody told them to do, first of all. Second of all...
Still had to do it. What about... But you brought up the IKEA table.
I said I don't know. I don't know.
I thought you were calling the IKEA table art.
No, I was saying, is it?
I don't know. But that's what I'm saying. Where is the line?
But if it is an actual piece of art that somebody says they made and they're calling themselves an artist, then you don't get to tell them it's not.
So, just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
You're getting mad.
I'm not getting mad.
I can see it on your face.
I'm not.
You're one of those people who may not say things, but your face is saying it still.
Well, okay, but I'm not mad. I'm just trying to get the point across.
Let me ask you a question. And this is not me poking and prodding. I'm asking you a question. If I decided one day to put on an adult diaper, take a literal dump in it, and then stick it in like a shadow box, call myself an artist and sell that. Is it art?
I mean, if there's some people that do stuff like that for art, man, it's weird. It's insane. Here's a great example. What is and isn't art.
All right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Banksy. I already brought up Banksy.
I actually really like Banksy because I think there's a message behind everything he does.
He had an exhibit, I don't know, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and it was... They sold it at auction.
Oh, I know the one you're talking about. The shredder?
The shredder.
Yeah.
And as soon as they bought it, the shredder automatically shredded that painting.
Yep.
There's some people that would say that's not
They
art.
actually pieced together the art afterward
Oh, I thought it was
Shredded?
shredded in such a way that it would never be able to be put back together.
I think it was shredded in a straight line, wasn't it?
I don't remember.
I don't know. I don't want to misspeak because I thought that's what it was, but that just might be my own brain thinking, oh, they did that. But I thought that they had taken it and laid it out and still look at it as art. It's still Banksy. But I know that I know that I'm not on the probably popular side of this discussion. I just don't think, I think there's a lot of things that are considered art that don't feel art.
They don't feel like art to you, and that's fine. But I have more or less been on your side of this argument for a long time.
Okay.
It is only over the last 10 years, tops.
I just don't understand where you draw the line. Because again, I just asked you if I took a dump in a diaper, put it in a shadow box, called myself an artist, and then sold it or tried to sell it, am I an artist?
I mean, technically, yeah, kind of. If you were selling it as art and somebody bought it, some weirdo that wanted to buy a diaper full of poo.
When's your birthday?
December 28th.
Damn it, I missed it. But I'm going to get you a late birthday present. It's going to be the first Cartman. Oh, it's going to be the first Brian original. And I'm doing exactly that. And you're going to hang it up because it's art.
You're making dumb things. You're
I
saying
am
dumb
not.
things again.
I am giving you an original piece of art. Joking aside, will you hang it if I make it?
No.
Where do we draw the line?
I don't know, but I really want people to chime in some way, shape, or form on this. I want to chime in, and I wouldn't even mind a follow-up conversation with somebody else.
I'm always willing to talk about it. Like, I'm not, I know it sounds like we're being defensive on our arguments, but I just...
Again, the reason that I feel so strongly about it is because I have really just taken that leap in my life to access that part of me.
Well, you're exponentially older than me.
Like 6 years, fool. 7 years? What are you talking about?
7 years, buddy.
I mean, maybe you'll get with a program in 2 or 3.
But I'm the old man because I like watches.
Speaking of what is or is not art.
Don't. You can't do that.
Let's do the Hallmark Christmas challenge.
Oh, man. I already know how this is going to go. Let me set this up. My wife and I love Hallmark movies. And we understand and are in on the joke. Okay? It is a joke. They are all the same movie, repurposed over and over again every year.
Yeah.
Usually with the same actors and actresses.
The same plot lines. And the same
plot lines. They all have a name like Holly or... Yeah, it's great. It's always some Christmas-related name or Chris. Like there'll be a girl named Chris, and her last name happens to be Kringle, and then she happens to find out she's Santa Claus. Like we understand and embrace it.
It's a great example, again, of what is art and what is not, because like my big problem with music that gets played on a lot of radio stations nowadays, same thing with a lot of movies that get put out. It's the same thing. It's the same template. It sounds like this. We're going to put that out, but they're still artists. You know what I mean?
So is it still art for you?
There's still artists. There's still actors. There's still singers. There's still musicians and things like that. It's just not good. You know? It's like, what is art? But again, it's perception.
I will be the first to tell you I absolutely love Hallmark movies, but I don't necessarily think that these are... Like, I don't want you to think as we go into this that I've ever thought they're some sort of... Oscar-worthy movies.
No, I don't think that.
I just enjoy them, and sometimes I think the corniness and the cheesiness is what makes them endearing.
I forgot which ones I forgot what the names of the ones I watched, because I watched 3 of them.
You got A Wish for Christmas, which was the Lacey Chabert.
I watched that one.
And that's where the plot is Santa Claus grants her a wish she didn't know she wanted.
Not that one.
Where she was a news anchor?
I did 2 from Lacey Chabert. Oh, yeah. So that was one.
Okay.
And then I did watch Hot Frosty because I thought that was one you wanted me to watch.
It's the new so Netflix decided to kind of point out where this is going. Netflix decided, oh wow, Hallmark does really well during the Christmas months with ratings. We want in on that. So they're now pumping out these same Christmas movies, but they're taking it to a level of where they're putting a lot more money into the production, but they're
not putting a lot of money in writing or acting or anything.
Cheesy. They're so cheesy still.
Yeah, but I mean, the Hallmark ones are as cheesy. I mean, they're
Hot Frosty, though, to me, and it's doing really well. I think last I checked on like Rotten Tomatoes, it was really high up, which cracks me up because it's not. I don't think it's a better movie than the Hallmark ones. I feel like the Hallmark ones at least leave you with some kind of warm feeling, where Hot Frosty did not.
No, I tried. I mean, I got about the same feelings from all of them.
All right, well,
I did not watch the Candace Cameron one because I couldn't find that one.
Okay, well, sum up. I want you to sum up your Hallmark movie Christmas experience.
I wanted, especially.
Oh, wait. You're a dick. I want to point that out.
Yeah.
He decided, I complained about this on the last podcast, that in Hallmark movies, these idiots always drink their coffee with two hands.
Yeah.
And they always hold it with two hands, even if it's the most awkward way to do it in the scene. Rather than just picking up with one hand and drinking it, they reach with two all the way across the table to get it and hold it. You ended up taking a selfie of you drinking your chocolate or hot chocolate or whatever it was and sent it to me. I assume while you were watching the movies.
No, when I was watching those movies, I was just drinking my hot chocolate with two hands, and I was like, oh, I should take a selfie and send it to Cartman.
You suck.
But I mean, again, I didn't watch the Candace Cameron one. I watched the Lacey Chabert one, where she was a reporter, and then I watched Hot Frosty, and then the other one with the redhead girl. She went to the wrong family for Christmas.
Yes.
I can't remember the name of that one.
Oh, that's such a good movie.
That was probably the best one.
A very merry mix-up.
That was probably the best of the three that I watched.
Okay.
Now, here's the thing, because I do love Christmas.
Yeah.
I love the vibe of Christmas.
And that's why I thought you might like these, not for the quality, but for the message. I thought maybe Smitty will enjoy these, but I'm gonna have him watch it anyway, knowing he probably won't.
No, I really tried, man. It was one of those things. It was just, again, everything was just so cheesy. The writing was awful in all of them. The acting was awful in every single one. Lacey Chabert, I know you like her, but I don't know if I've seen less emotion in like a donkey. You know? It's just not good. I tried to watch it. They're warm, and I hear people. I was watching something with Conan O'Brien, and they were talking about Hallmark movies and how they absolutely love them. And I'm just like, nope, not for me.
I do think I think next year we do this differently. I think there's a really great.
What do you mean next year?
Next Christmas.
I'm not doing this again.
Hold on. I want to see if it makes it better. This is an experiment for science. There is a drinking game that is specifically based around Hallmark.
I don't want to get hammered.
I want to see how fast, because I don't drink. So I want to see how fast you would get hammered watching one of these Hallmark Christmas movies if you stick to the rules. Like, one of them is you take a shot for every time there's a character introduced who's
We'd
got
have to
the
watch
name.
it together on Zoom, and then you just tell me when to drink.
Take
and
a
I'd be
shot.
Like, all right.
Take a shot. And then, there is a chance you'll die from alcohol poisoning. Because, again, all these movies are very much the same.
They're very much the same. And
so the rules
almost went and just binge watched a bunch more just so I could have more of a reference. And I'm just like, no, I don't really want to do that.
But for science, will you watch it again and drink?
No, well, yeah.
I'll give you credit for this. Look, you were curious and not judgmental, and you watched the movies.
Remember that.
I will give you credit for that. I will 100% give you credit for that. Can we talk about the thing we're planning on doing before we wrap up?
I don't even know if I know what you're talking about.
Well, us being curious together.
No, don't talk about that. Don't talk about that at all.
I swear to God, I did not plan for that to come out of my mouth the way it came out.
Or into your mouth.
No. I can't believe that just happened.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of a way to talk about what we might react to by sticking with the theme.
Oh no,
of
I'll say it. I'll say it. No,
okay.
It's we talk quite a bit on the show. At least the first several episodes about Ted Lasso.
Yes.
And I've rewatched that series twice now, or I've watched that series twice now. And season 4 looks like it's for sure happening. It's for sure happening.
Yeah, pointing in that direction.
I've really become a nerd about it, man. You got a book. We talked about how you don't read. You actually have a book now. It's a Ted Lasso book.
Yeah, I've got this weird theme. The books I do read are behind the scenes views of TV shows I liked. I read a Big Bang Theory one, and now I'm reading the Ted Lasso one.
So I think we're at the very least going to real time review the series.
Can my wife join? Get the female perspective?
Sure.
I can't believe I said what I said. Getting curious together. I was trying to reference "Be Curious, Not Judgmental," and
I know
then
you're
it
trying to
came
do
out
it.
with
You
me and
ruined
you
it.
getting curious together, and I didn't know what to do. I froze.
You just got to truck right through. You got to go right through the struggle.
Well, this might be one of the longest podcasts we've done.
Is it really?
We're at 40 minutes, man.
No, we had an hour one. We had a 45, 50-minute one.
That was
Something like that.
that was gross.
Be curious. So
Nope.
yeah, no. So I think we may very well do some kind of reaction video to the Ted Lasso thing because I really want to just. I think that is one of the more important shows that has been out in my lifetime.
Are we going to be able to pause and talk about specific things,
No.
or are we just going to watch and react?
Just watch and react,
Okay.
and then talk about it before and after.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's in the works, and then hopefully we'll get back to every week having a new podcast as well. Which this is fun.
I like it.
I like it.
I really have a good time doing it. And again,
It's not art, but it's fun.
you just got away. You just got away. All right, that's the Smartman Show. Watch us for episode 9. Please throw a comment down anywhere. We'll respond to it when we get back on to record. Please leave a favorable review. Follow the podcast, like it, subscribe on YouTube, all that stuff, and we'll be back for another episode.
Tell your friends about it.
Yeah. Yeah, if you have friends.
Okay. I guess I'm not sharing with anybody.
That's it. I almost said see ya like it's a radio show.